Everybody, welcome back to another episode of Ships and Giggles. It's business, and this is a terrible lead. Look at this. Why the hell didn't I do like another half a boat length there? I have no idea, but yeah, this video was recorded April 27th, and this was not my first match in the York, so I should have known better. But yeah, Kami pretty much wrecked the shit out of him right there, and we're in a not a great position right now, and at this point we're in a much worse position, and we just lost another ship, and it's almost a 300-point lead for the enemy team. They have a couple North Carolinas, a number of cruisers still remain, and yeah, we're in a defensive posture right now. We just took out one of their ships, and this North Carolina is not long for this world. Get a nice little salvo there with the AP. This actually is an excellent illustration of how a team, despite their advantage in firepower and ships, just is not pushing forward and securing victory. Myself and Kami, we're still, we're working on team speak here and trying to, coordinate our attacks and make sure that we have, some sort of concerted effort to knock out a single ship, any ship, at least at this point, try to even the odds for ourselves. We do have a buddy Oni on our team as well, who I'm not really sure if I can't remember if he really contributed to much of anything. He did get kind of wrecked here right after that moment there. He got citadeled and was left with like 2,000 health, and now at this point, of course, he's dead. You can see his wreckage right there. So myself, Kami, and this guy named Hold My Beer in his Kiev, who I definitely complimented after this match, are just trying to chip away at these guys and see what we could do to make this, tilted back towards our favor. Now, I was anticipating the Farragut to get close to our cap and like enter at any point. I thought he was behind the other island to the left, not the one here in the middle. And because he's not where I anticipated him to be, that means I suddenly overextended. So he's behind cover, and I was fully expecting to engage this guy, and it didn't happen. So I opened myself, unfortunately, up to the Buddy Oni, and there's also the Atago that's off to the right, off the screen, and you'll see a salvo come in here right there from him, and luckily I was able to dodge that, so had some sixth sense going on there. But my torps, of course, missed, but I have AP loaded, and the Buddy Oni is broadside and takes a licking right there. So nice damage amount, and I bounce most of his shells. So pretty fair trade. Now the Buddy Oni died, and also the North Carolina died. So now they're just down to the New Mexico, the Otago, and the Farragut. I haven't seen the Farragut in a little while, and I didn't have situational awareness active on this at this point with this captain, so I don't know where the Farragut is at all. Our Kiev decided to run through the middle and get on their cap, and pay attention to his position and the cap timer, of course. Things get a little dicey here in a moment. Now, I'm moving north, Kami's moving south, and this Otago is going to run pretty much right in between us. So what I'm trying to do is pull him away to, he's got to respond to at least one of us. And in order to do so, he's going to open himself up to the other. And we're coordinating this, trying to make sure that if I don't have a shot, then Kami has a shot. If he doesn't have a shot, then I have a shot. And I switch over to AP, and again, I should know better, but my shells land in the stern of the ship and do a couple thousand damage, when I probably should have killed him. So I switch back to HE and take a look at the caps again. We have paused on their cap, unfortunately, so that means that the Farragut is obviously down at their base. So did a good job responding to that. At the very least, I get some decent HE damage there on the Otago, and he's not going to survive to my next shot because he's dead. And Kami secures the Kraken there against the Otago, and now we have a lonely little New Mexico to deal with, who I just feel bad for this guy only showing up to this match right now, so kind of sucks. I mean, he doesn't have to be that far north. He could be a couple sectors down and closer to our cap, but generally it's just this being an example of a team that, while they're together, they're not being aggressive enough, and we just secured the victory there with Hold My Beer taking out the Farragut. So I ended up doing another like 20k damage to that New Mexico poor guy, but yeah, it just you know, you can have the advantage with your ships, whether they're higher tier or longer range, that sort of thing, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't push and if you're not aggressive when the situation calls for it. Now this match is actually from even further back. This was recorded April 4th, and that goes to show you I do sit on some of these videos for quite a long time, and it only just occurred to me that I should probably cut these videos down considerably and put them into a Ships and Giggles episode, so here we are. Now Ognavoy, 4.5 minutes in, rushes up through the middle, beaches himself, backs up, pops smoke way too late, and then rushes right out of it. Don't ask me, guys. I don't know what the hell this guy was thinking, but rushing up through the middle, that's more of a mid-late game type of thing to save you time and or to keep you alive and, you know, throw the remaining enemy team off kilter and all that stuff. But in this situation, all he's doing is drawing us back so we can actually defend the cap against a pretty good force that's on the other half of the map. And if you take a look, I mean, we hardly have any other ships on this, what is this, the east side of the map. So it just kind of weird to me that he did that. And all it did was ensure that we were going to sit here and try to make something happen. There was a Mayhem here, of course, as you just saw when I launched the Torps. And I am anticipating him any moment. Get a nice HE salvo, and boom, 5400 damage. Now, I kind of screwed this up because what I wanted to do was turn a bit sharper here. Because right now I'm in a bad position, because that's a North Carolina coming around, and there's other ships over here that are going to be making my life pretty miserable rather quickly if I don't get my shit together and get out of here. Now I know at the time I was using control as my push to talk key, which is why I was in this situation to begin with, because I hit control to communicate with the guys in TeamSpeak, and sure enough, it stopped my movement there. So yeah, just try not to find yourself in these situations, guys. Don't do as I ever do. Please don't. At least in these situations. But manage about 6,000 damage on the side of the North Carolina with the AP, send some torps through the gap, and my little gift there is an airdrop torpedo on my my starboard side, but I do manage to get a triple citadel on the Pensacola, and sure enough, he meets his doom rather quickly. But I also get 2 torp hits. Now the only thing that was over there is the Farragut, and I know that for sure. And I didn't kill him with the 2 torps because damage saturation. So the 2 torps hit the same spot, and that was as much damage as that spot on the ship could give. So he didn't die. And you can see that in various videos anywhere in regards to World of Warships. It's actually pretty common. I've been left with 2 health in my Matsuki from Benson. I actually got hit with 2 Benson torps, and I survived with 2 health. I mean, he should have killed me, but whatever. Now, I did a bad thing here, and I turned out I didn't expect him to do a full broadside, this Otago that's coming up through the middle. That was really close. I thought he'd only shoot his front turrets, and then I luckily dodged another salvo there. The North Carolina finally died, and I managed to get a torp hit on the Otago. I was kind of afraid of getting more attention from the enemy carrier as well, so at any point I'm just anticipating my death. Now, curiously enough, yeah, the Otago didn't have his turrets facing me. I don't know why, but triple citadel him as he comes around and knock him out. I'm on a sliver of health, and I'm trying to help where I can, getting some decent penetration damage with AP against the Warspite there, and I decide to charge through the middle, and while I'm capping, decide to start engaging the enemy North Carolina because his guns were facing the wrong way and all that stuff. So I do actually have a pretty good target lead there. I mean, Jesus Christ, these shells look like, the AP shells specifically look like they're like hang gliders or something. It's absolutely ridiculous how long it takes for those shells to reach their max range. But I do a tactical beaching here and manage to cap them out. So another 117,000 damage total, 7,100 XP, 3,158 base XP. That was actually my best match in the York in terms of XP gain. So yeah, some pretty good matches there with the York. Definitely like that. Now to move on to something a little bit more recent, I'm in the North Carolina on Atlantic, and this Iowa has caught my attention because of the fact that he had been stationary for quite a while, and now he starts moving forward. And as you can see, I've got a North Carolina who's bow forward to him as well. I narrowly avoid getting wrecked there because I cut back to port and managed to bounce the shells from the Iowa. So what's happening here, and I recognize it pretty quick, this dude's going for a ram. And as you can see, I'm looking back at my North Carolina buddy and I'm like, oh shit. Now there are torps that are coming in, and that actually helps out quite a bit because they're enemy torps and the Iowa takes one of them. So there's some team damage there, but it also forces him in and flattens him out in order for him to not only miss the other torps, but try to go for a ram, which did not happen because I just saved that guy's ass. Now unfortunately, in this game, no good deed goes unpunished, because seconds later, this happens. And what did he say? His torps have the right of way. Look at the minimap. There's nothing there for him to fucking shoot. It was so asinine, but that's how it goes, right? On the lighter side, I'm in the match here on Conquest, or actually Trident. Sorry, I keep saying the actual file name, not the map name. That's so weird. Anyways, I got wrecked pretty quick in this Ishizuchi match, but this guy, what a hero, right? This Juho actually ends up in A1, going backwards the entire game. Wow, I don't know if I've actually ever seen that. Like, he never went forward once throughout the entire match. And switching gears over to the Minekaze, I gotta say, even if this ship is in a tier 7 match, Jesus Christ, it's dangerous. You know, there's a shores that's coming up close here, and I'm taking B right from under these guys' noses. They're not even pushing in to contest this at all, which actually really surprised me. But I'm in a position where there is a Nagato that's coming through, coming south, and he's in dangerous position because of the fact that he's so close to me. So I have to fear both the secondaries, but he has to fear my torpedoes. And sure enough, he's walking right into a very, very small window of opportunity here. So I decide to launch my torps, and I'm staying on the cap here. I got my smoke. I'm way too close to the shores, but 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 damage with all 6 hits there. Damn. And this guy is shooting wildly. I've got my torps about ready to come up again, but thankfully he gets taken out and I don't have to refill myself just yet. Now go back around the top side of the island there. Minekaze decided to show up and started chasing me. Managed to get him and finally secure the kill on the Nagato for a double strike. God, that felt so good. But let's go back to some North Carolina action. Now as you can see on the clock in the top left, 7 minutes have passed. Nothing's been happening. Now, this Moskva, I've been shooting at him. I think this was my 3rd salvo, and this guy had just been pissing me off because he just kind of been sitting there doing nothing and you know, harassing everybody. But now he takes 27,000 damage, and that'll get him moving in a hurry. So there is a Kagero on the far right of the team here, and you can see the little indicator there on the map showing where he last was. There are 2 Iowas on the right as well, and this guy is going to take a little bit of damage there, 20,000. I do have a Yamato that's going to take an absolutely incredible amount of attention off of me, and I'm going to use that to my advantage. So he also served as a torp bulge, which was pretty handy as well there, as you saw. So poor guy though. Now there is a Yamato directly ahead of me as well, which is what our Yamato just fired at. And amazingly, this guy has been taking a beating, and now unfortunately there's Shimikaze torps in the water, and there's going to be a few more fish there. You'll see just in a second here when I turn to the right. See those? Yeah, that's another Kagero torp wall. This poor guy. He didn't deserve this. He was trying to be heroic. So enemy Iowa is showing his full broadside here and trying to get his last shots in on the Yamato, and unfortunately I take way too long to get my shot off there and he turns out. So I'm going right in at this this Yamato, and I narrowly avoid the Kagero Torp there on the stern, so yay. But again, I've been avoiding damage pretty damn well so far. Nothing's really happened against me, but now I'm going toe-to-toe against the Yamato, and he's turning out trying to get one last salvo off before he dies, and I know this guy's got to be furiously clicking his left mouse button, but I get him before he fires, thankfully. So a couple citadels there, finish him off, and try to get my third turret in the action here, try to get these guys pushed away from me a little bit, and I'm going in against this Iowa mainly that's ahead of me when I recognize that there's the damn turrets off to my left. I didn't even pay attention to that guy. So there's an Udaloy ahead of me, there's still a Shimikaze off to my left somewhere, and I am going all in, so might as well. Thought about shooting at the Udaloy, but this is too good of a target to pass up. So I start finally taking some damage, but I'm inflicting some here too. Enemy Iowa takes 24,000, and now shit hits the fan. So I've got a full set of Shimikaze Torps right ahead of me. I'm turning and exposing my broadside to pretty much everybody I don't want to expose it to. I take a few Torps, I take some nasty hits, and that's how fast you can lose 60,000 plus health. But you know what's really fun? Doing something like this. $52,000, booyah, quads hit. Oh, that made it worth it. So, I have something to discuss with you guys briefly. Basically, I got an invitation to be a super tester, and I'm on the fence about it for a number of reasons. Well, first off, I do greatly appreciate the invitation and the effort that some people had placed into suggesting me for that position. It's certainly not lost on me, but at the same time, there's a bit of an issue for me in terms of the overall scheduling and things like that, and the fact that I won't be able to talk about it at all, because once I sign an NDA, there's no discussion about it whatsoever. There's no images, no YouTube, there's no Twitch, nothing at all. I can't share any of that information with you guys at all. The curious part, though, to me, is that there's no penalty for the people that data mine and dump all that info out about, like, say, USS Arizona or something like that, when the people that are actually playing it and testing it out, they don't get to talk about it at all. I mean, they have their own, super tester forum for the specific feedback for the things they're testing and all that, but it just seems kind of odd to me. I don't know. That doesn't sit well with me at all, actually. And mainly, my big problem is the fact that if they're running schedules for the super test at like a given point in time with my schedule, I'm not entirely sure that's gonna work at all. And it just kind of sucks, because I hate having to turn down something, especially where I'd be able to have some more direct involvement with the game, which would be pretty awesome. That would be great. But at the same time, I don't think I have the availability that would be required of me to be able to participate in any real meaningful way. And as much as I would love to be able to do this, I'm leaning towards the decline. So yeah, kind of shitty. But anyways, back to the match at hand here. I'm savoring this moment because this is what thinking ahead gets you. It gets me in this position and the Yamato in that position, and boom, triple citadel on the side, knock him out. Now, unfortunately, I got my C turret involved, and that pushed me a little too far to the left, and yeah, I kind of beached myself here, and I was scared shitless because I thought that I was going to be stuck there. I couldn't dislodge myself for a little bit, and about a minute later I finally got going. So yeah, I was so worried I would miss an opportunity like this, because the Montana was in the same position as well. This is glorious. And that was bad dispersion. 52,400 health with shitty dispersion. Those shells were all over the place, quad citadel, and I angle against him. I mean, only take about 6,000 damage to the front. I think that's a fair trade. And to me right now, the bigger threat is the Atago. The Montana's going down regardless with the ships that we have near him and focusing on him. So my next salvo, right on the Atago that has been kind of harassing me for a little bit, another 28,000. So about 117,000 damage on 3 salvos, 3 consecutive salvos. Holy shit, that felt good. And this easily became the highest damage North Carolina match I've had, which I've had to say that now 3 times in the last week. I keep setting the bar a little higher. Now, I switched targets because the Des Moines is, even at low health, a considerable threat, and I tried to stage a double strike here. I get the Des Moines right there, and unfortunately failed to get the Atago. That would have just been icing on the cake, though. Damn. Alrighty, well that pretty much wraps up this episode, but a few things to go over before we close out. I am very close to solidifying a schedule for streaming, and over the next couple weeks I will be trying to see if that one I have in mind is going to work. I will be leaving for Boston at the start of July, and we'll be gone for the first 5 days. So after that, you know, I'll see if I can really hop to it and stick to a particular schedule. But 1,000 follower mark was reached on Twitch last week, and coming close to 5,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And the next video, which will be user replay number 10, will be the 100th Warships video I've uploaded, which is pretty damn badass. So thank you all again for your continued support. I appreciate it, and feel free to leave feedback about 5.7 detonations, and because I have a sneaking suspicion that there's going to be a lot more of them, and the super tester thing in the comments section here. I will be streaming today at 3 p.m. Eastern, so feel free to swing by and say hello, and thank you for watching, guys. Take care.